Hello, dear friend. Before we start this webinar, I want to ask you a genuine question that comes from a place of love and care. How are you doing? This is not just a courtesy question. I genuinely am interested in how you are because this time, nobody ever thought that we would be in this time. There's so much uncertainty. There's so much of unsettling feelings in this whole universe. Things are completely crazy. Things are getting from bad to worse, it seems, if you follow the news and social media posts. And you must be just wondering, like, how do I do what I do and how do I function in my life? Because on a personal level, this whole pandemic is very numbing, very unstable, and very unsettling, unless you have the answers. And that's why, we're on the webinar as to find out how we can, navigate this. But a couple of questions that could be running through your mind right now are, why? Why did this happen to me? Especially if your life has been moving on a trajectory on the upswing, you would be feeling very, sort of vindicated right now. You could be feeling that the universe has played a cruel game on you. I was doing well, and why did this have to happen? The other thing is like, now what do I do? Now this has happened, so now what do I do? I mean, do you have the tools? Have you equipped yourself with the tools to know now what do I do? And then you're going to be asking yourself, how did this happen and how do I get through this? So how did this happen and how do I get through this? And the last one is going to be, where do I go from here? Now, we're going to be addressing all these questions in the webinar as we go through this webinar. So let's start with, why did this happen? Well, nobody really knows why this happened. It happened, okay? We all have conspiracy theories floating out there. We all have scientific evidence that, this happened and that happened and this plus this is equal to this. But, I'm not a scientist and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So I believe that what you put out in the universe, whether you believe in it or not, we're all energy. So what you put out in the universe comes back to you. And I honestly think that this was something that was waiting to happen because of various reasons, which I can do another separate webinar on. But why did this happen? Because it's a chain reaction, according to me. Energetically, it's a chain reaction. We have created so many, unnatural things in this universe that, other organisms have had to kind of adapt. We have done so many things which are not in congruence with the laws of nature. And so all this carries a heavy price and it can manifest as anything. We don't know how the universe is going to manifest things, in physical form. We can't question the universe because the universe is divine intelligence. So why this happened to us? I think because partly it was a creation of our own doing. And no one's placing any blame here, please. We're just being factual about things from an energetic point of view and from actually a common sense point of view, okay? Now, how did this happen to me? Let's not take these things personally. It's happened not only to you and me, it's happened to the other 7 billion people on the planet, not to mention every other sentient being or living being on this planet. So it's, how did this happen? It's just an extension of the question, why did this happen? But if you ask an intelligent question saying, how do I get through this? I may have a few more answers for you. How can you get through this? You can get through this by being absolutely firm in your perspective. What is your perspective? You can either look at this coronavirus pandemic from a place of helplessness, from a reactionary place, or you can look at it from a place of empowerment and a response place. You can either react through helplessness or you can respond with empowerment. How do I get through this? We're going to be mapping out those steps as we go through this webinar. Where do I go from here? This is very interesting. Where do I go from here? Well, if you join the course that I'm offering at an extremely nominal rate after the webinar, there's tons of value in this webinar and you can choose to go and do this on your own, or you can join my course which I'm launching in the next 1 week. Coming back to this, where do I go from here? You need to actually map out a plan as to where you're going in terms of all the areas of your life. This is the time to uplift yourself. This is the time to focus inwards. In any case, hashtag social distancing, hashtag lockdown, hashtag don't go out, stay at home, whatever the hashtags are, they're all relevant, right? We don't want to be irresponsible and expose ourselves unnecessarily to the virus, because the virus doesn't discriminate against anybody. We're all susceptible to catch it. Having said that, you have to take responsibility for your life. This is up-leveling your life, right? Up-level life in lockdown. This is where you can make a plan as to, I'm going to work on myself. And when I work on myself, I know where I'm going to go because I have a clear-cut path. So once you make that decision, then the how, the when, the why, all these questions, automatically get filled in. All these fill in the blanks get filled in. You have to focus on the 6 areas of your life right now. What are those 6 areas? The mental, the physical, the emotional, your relationships, your career, and your energetic balance of the entire being. Okay? Focus on these 6 parts of your life, because everything is relevant. It takes all sorts of causes and conditions for a fruit to ripen, for it to even taste sweet, for it to smell nice, for it to actually be ripe for the picking. If the fruit just looks good and it's waxed and polished, but it tastes really bad, you're not going to buy it, right? So if one area of your life is off, then obviously all the other areas are going to be infected. It's like if you put an infected apple in a bowl with beautiful, fresh, juicy, lovely apples, invariably they're all going to be infected, because you see, energy passes from one thing to another. Energy flows where energy goes, and energy is contagious. So if you think that this virus is contagious, I'm here to tell you that your energy is even more contagious. Now you have a choice. Either your energy can be contagious in a positive way, from a place of empowerment, or either it can be from a negative way, from a place of helplessness. You gotta choose what you want to do with your energy, okay? So let's dive into the next part of this webinar.